This is Mike Franklin, the property tax guy, and today's April 24th, 2024. And I have a very interesting scenario to run past you. What you see on the screen is the Common Council for the city of Oswego. And this year they went through a reval. They hired this company out of Buffalo to do a reval of approximately 7,000 properties. And it appears as though they paid $450,000 to do that. And the public received their notices for their assessments, and it created an uproar. And so there have been a bunch of public meetings where the public has spoken of their displeasure of the new assessment revaluation. And so this particular hearing, I'm going to relay what transpired and what's going on, because it's really, really fascinating stuff. And first of all, I want to give credit to the mayor and the majority of the Common Council that pushed through to do this revaluation despite public outrage. That put under a lot of pressure. So in the center is the mayor. To the left of the mayor is the city attorney. The fellow in the bottom right of the counselors, his name is Gorsh. Apparently, his father was a previous mayor. And anyway, at this particular meeting, they're going to vote whether to rescind the revaluation that they paid $450,000 for. So I'm going to basically tell the story as if I'm one of the people going up and speaking to the council and to the people. And, usually the first thing they want to know is if you live in the city, and I obviously I don't. So I'm going to see if I can, have a somewhat realistic simulation as if I were there to speak on this topic. Okay, so my name is Mike Franklin. I'm the property tax guy. I do not live in the city of Oswego, but then again, GAR Associates, who did your reval, is not either. However, what we're talking about here, the revaluation of the assessments for the city of Syracuse, is based on New York state law, and so it's a statewide issue, and so therefore, I think that both sides to this issue will have interest in some of what it is that I have saying, and both sides probably will have some things that they agree with, and both sides will have some things that they won't be too pleased to hear about. But it is what it is, and so. Again, first, I applaud the mayor and the majority of the common council for having the guts to follow through with this thing. A lot of politicians push this down the road, kick the can to the next administration, but they had the guts to follow through and do what's right. When you're paid to do a job and you don't do it, it's called fraud. And they are doing the job, even though it's not popular and could get them voted out of office. For example, the city of Syracuse has not done a reval since 1997, for political reasons. And, they don't want the aggravation and they don't want the problems. But the thing is, they're paid to do it. And so the assessments in the city of Syracuse, the equalization is 62.5%. Their assessments are in total disarray because they have not gone through this process. And so again, I applaud them. And it's a difficult thing to do. And so in this hearing, and I encourage you to watch it, the city attorney goes on a speech, and I have to say it was quite eloquent and to the point. And I have to say I agree with just about everything that he said, even though everybody in the crowd did not like what it is that he had to say. If I'm to critique what it is that he had to say, is that he got into the politics quite a bit, and he's the city attorney. He should stick to the facts. He was saying that the resolution that Gorsh over there on the right is pushing to cancel this valuation, it was nonsense. And I don't know if you should use antagonizing terminology of that nature. I think as the city attorney, he should relay the facts. And I think the facts should demonstrate that it was in fact nonsense. But, I don't think it's for him to say. He should stick to the law and let the politicians do the politics. And so that's my criticism of him. Other than that, I think that his analysis of the situation is spot on. They must proceed with this revaluation, as unpopular as it is. It needs to be done, and they paid for it. Another criticism I have of the city attorney and the mayor is that I had foiled the contract between the GAR associates, the people who did the revaluation, and the city. And it took them 3.5 weeks to get it to me. Apparently they were delaying it, so I wouldn't have it in time for these meetings. And that's an integrity issue. And I finally got it when I wrote them another email and carbon copied the Oswego newspapers, basically saying, what's up. So they did provide it, and I read it. And my observation is the first 11 pages of were the contract, and there's another 20 or so, 30 pages of boilerplate testimonials and some charts and diagrams. But the contract says right in the contract that only what's in the contract is relevant. And it might lead people to believe that the rest of the boilerplate had something to do with the contract, but it didn't. And essentially, the contract laid out the responsibilities of the city, but basically didn't lay out any responsibilities of the GAR associates. They basically promised to do nothing, and their contract laid out their payment plan, basically 10, 20 grand a month for the past 2 years. So they've already received their money. And so these people who think the GAR associates didn't do their job properly, and they think that the city's going to sue them, they need to read the contract because it doesn't appear as though the city attorney did or the mayor, and he just signed this ridiculous one-sided contract. So if you think you're going to hold GAR associates accountable, I think you got another thing coming. I think that these people got out-lawyered because the lawyer for the GAR associates, it's not his first rodeo. It's not the first time he's done this. And it's pretty apparent it was the first time the city of Oswego has done this. And they signed a bad contract, and they're going nowhere trying to get their money back. It's not going to happen, in my opinion. So I have that criticism of the city attorney. Where was he at the time of the signing of the contract? Did he approve this contract? And because I'm going to suggest that he wasn't qualified to review this contract because it pertains to assessment matters, and he probably doesn't have the expertise. Frankly, I would say that I have more expertise because I know about assessment matters, and I could at least tell you that you're signing a bad contract. But anyway, so at this meeting, they voted on the matter, and and what's really interesting is that in previous meetings and this one, everybody in the public had an opportunity to talk, and they gave everybody all the time that they wanted, and they didn't interrupt them, even though some of the people were going off on tangents. One woman was talking about Solomon and the Philistines, and they let her finish, and didn't say a word, let them speak their mind. Every single person had an opportunity to talk, and then the attorney, gave his speech, and he was interrupted a couple of times, and they said, "Look, everybody had an opportunity to talk, and it's our turn to talk." And I didn't like his tone towards people. He says, you have to listen. I didn't like the tone; it was a little unprofessional, but overall, I thought his talk was pretty darn good. Then each of the counselors said what they had to say, and I've been doing this a long time. I've dealt with hundreds of cases, and just when you think you've seen it all, you haven't seen anything. And in this case, what's new that I had not seen before is this fellow at the bottom right named Gorsh. He was trying to get this contract with GR Associates canceled and have the reval expunged and have the assessments put back to last year. And I think he knew he didn't have the votes to do that. He was doing it to grandstand for political purposes because he wants to be the next mayor. I think and he's getting the crowd all riled up, and I found him to be disingenuous, and I find it despicable what it is that he was doing. And at the end, he's up there grandstanding about he's quitting the Republican Party. It's like, this isn't the place to talk about what you are doing, with politics. This is a talk about the revaluation and the public's concerns and the vote. And I found it inappropriate for him to be talking about all of these other things. So there's that issue. What more is there to say? Taking 3.5 weeks for me to get that contract is a reflection upon the city attorney and the mayor. Like I say, it's an integrity issue. If they're up there saying that they have to follow the law, and yet they're not following New York State FOIL. Now, I have to say they still were within their legal time limit on the FOIL request, but they knew this is a timely manner, and they're delaying it, which is it's disingenuous, and it's an integrity issue. So I'm concerned about that. They need to honor New York State FOIL, just like they need to honor the New York State real property tax law. So, but again, I applaud the mayor and the council, majority of council, who pushed this thing through. Because it has to be done, and the taxpayers paid for it to be done. And right now, the taxpayers don't like the results of it, but they have their appeal options, and they can go to bar and they can go to SCAR if they think that there's a problem. And I don't disagree with them as far as the job that GR Associates did. I don't know if they did the job properly, but I don't have enough information to say that they didn't. And time will tell. My guess is they may have cut some corners and took the money and did a lousy job. There's so much outrage. Statistically, it seems that there has to be issues going on. That they really didn't do a detailed valuation job. But on the other hand, I don't have any evidence to say that they didn't. Time will tell on that. But the public has appeal options, and they're available to them, and they've got they've got May to figure it out. Go to the Board of Assessment Review. If that doesn't work, go to SCAR. A lot of what I heard from the public is, they're all concerned about their neighbors, the elderly, single moms and stuff. Well, my suggestion to them is any of them who have had experience in challenging their taxes, go out and help as many people as they can, as many elderly people as they can. And if they need help helping those people, they can call me and I will help them for free. If there are elderly people or there's anybody that needs help with this, I will help them for free as what I consider to be my civic duty. I certainly don't want the reputation of being a guy that helps rich people evade taxes. I will help anybody in this situation for free, and I will work with this assessor to try to get to what's right. And and by the way, their new assessor, I question the wisdom of hiring an inexperienced assessor prior to doing a revaluation. but the guy they hired seems to be acting in good faith, and I hope they don't give the guy a heart attack. He's doing the best he can, and from what I've seen from him so far, his job is if a taxpayer has a concern, it's to look into it in good faith and to have an opinion. And if he agrees, make an adjustment. If he disagrees, politely point them to their appeal options. And that's his job, and he appears to be doing it. And I think he's got a good attitude, good customer service attitude, and so I support him at this point. And but he's got a tough job ahead of him trying to straighten this mess out. His name is Hill, and he seems like a decent guy. So I think the city has an asset in him, and I think the public needs to be patient with him, and if they have concerns, give them a call, try to straighten this stuff out. So, but anyway, it's just a very impressive public meeting interaction between the council and the public. Like I said, the council and the mayor gave everyone the opportunity to speak at length, say what it is that they had to say, and then the councilors said what it is that they had to say, and then they voted, and they voted against the resolution to cancel this thing, which was the right thing to do, in my opinion. So again, I know it's painful to because a lot of these people don't understand the process, but it is a process. It is the law, and if they need help, I'm here to help them. And Mike Franklin, the property tax guy, 315-876-2262. I'm happy to help any people in this situation for free. I'll do whatever it is that I can. If they're elderly and they can't fill out the paperwork themselves, I'll do it for them at no cost. I'll help as many people as I can to get them through this process. So I don't know if there's anything more to say, but I think it was an impressive exercise in civics. I applaud all involved. It was except for Gorsh. I think that he did the wrong thing for political purposes, and you know what? It makes me want to puke, to tell you the truth. I could be wrong, but I doubt that I'm wrong. It's just all his grandstanding is just ridiculous. But again, I'd like to see the attorney stick to being an attorney and stay out of the politics. He was doing really good, and he was really on point. And I think people had to respect what he had to say. I respect his expertise, but he's got to stay out of the politics, and he shouldn't be lecturing the public. But other than that, I think that this was really well done. People are going to be unhappy for a while, but it'll sort itself out. And the city of Syracuse needs to get their act together and go through the pain of this process. But anyway, good luck to Mr. Hill. I don't envy his job, but he's doing the best that he can. And I hope the public will be patient with him and respect the good work that it is that he is doing. This is Mike Franklin, the property tax guy.